Hey, what's going on? Jay Lopez, the body transformation coach here, and welcome to this video where I'm going to be going over 4 things to do after you accomplish your goal, after you get in shape. Okay. Now I know usually in a lot of my videos, I'm giving you guys tips on how to get in shape. Well, guess what? This is important too, because I can honestly tell you over 9 years of being a body transformation coach, not everyone stays in shape. Now, it's not to say that they don't have the tools and the resources, because they definitely do, at least with me. With my program and my coaching, I have, developed this thing for over 6 years. I'm always looking to see what I can do better, and offering like after transformation mentoring coaching is definitely one of those things. Not everyone takes me up on that. And then not everybody assumes. Most people assume I got it from here, right? And that's the reason for this. So from personal experience, when you get in shape, there are some things you have to do in order to maintain those things. And if you're just assuming that what you did to reach your goal is the same thing that you got to do to maintain it, you're wrong. Because in most cases, what you do with your diet and your gym training to accomplish your goal is not a sustainable thing, and is not meant to be sustainable. But what I don't like to see, and what I have seen on my program and off my program, I've seen people do this, get in amazing shape, and then a couple months later, a year later, a couple years later, you're like, what happened, right? So here are 4 things that I can honestly tell you come to mind when we think about what to do after we get in shape. Let's get into it. So the first thing is going to be acknowledge the accomplishment. Now, here's why I say this, because I've personally witnessed clients getting in amazing shape, and they don't really understand what they've accomplished. It could be a body dysmorphia thing. It could be just being in this space of wanting to accomplish more. I mean, the reasons are kind of endless, but I will say this. You definitely want to stop and acknowledge what you've accomplished, because there's a certain level of positivity and accomplishment and just a proud moment that I think everyone deserves as a result of getting in shape. Because losing weight, getting in shape is not an easy thing. I know it looks easy on social media, but it's not. It's challenging. And if you have gotten in shape, then you understand what that's like. So take a second and acknowledge the accomplishment. Acknowledge the fact that at one point, maybe some months prior, some weeks prior, or a year prior, you were not locked into any type of diet. You were not going to the gym consistently. You were not committed. You weren't sticking to your diet, whatever that looks like. Acknowledge that. It's really important to do that, because you have to have the confidence to even stay in shape. I mean, getting in shape is challenging because you're having to make some changes when it comes to your social life and things like that. But staying in shape is the same thing. It's easy to be pulled back into going out with the friends, or it's easy to be pulled into skipping the gym and things like that. I mean, a lot of people will literally sit back and just wait on you to kind of finish your transformation, respect your space, and then see if they can come right up and kind of be disruptive. You don't want that to happen. So I'm definitely going to say acknowledge your accomplishment. Now, the second thing is to isolate your habits and make a decision from there. Here's what I mean by this. When I say isolate your habits, I mean literally divide or separate the habits that hurt you from the habits that help you. This is so important, because a lot of times what I find is we accomplish the goal, and the first thing that we want to do is go back to what was comfortable. Listen, doing what is comfortable may lead you right back to being overweight and out of shape. Now, it's not to say that you cannot allow some of these habits that you had to initially step away from. It's not to say you cannot allow these things back in. It's just important to separate. It's important to identify, hey, these habits have helped me get in shape. These habits, I know for a fact, have led me to being overweight and out of shape, or gaining weight over time. Once you separate these habits, then you get to make a decision from there. Here's what I mean by this. Let's say I worked with a client to help them get in amazing shape for, I don't know, speaking events, right? Let's say I have a client that needed to get in amazing shape. They wanted to drop 25 solid pounds so that they could look good on stage in front of everyone speaking. They make this happen. So when it comes time to isolate and separate habits, some of the good habits, or some of the habits that have helped them, may be meal prepping, logging their cardio, knocking out cardio, going on my afternoon run, drinking X amount of gallons of water, X amount of liters of water, these things, right? Identifying the things, the habits that help them get in shape, and then identifying the habits that they know led them to being out of shape. That could be unhealthy snacking. That could be skipping the gym, too much TV time, hitting snooze and not getting up for the gym, like whatever those habits are, just identify them. It doesn't mean that you're going to isolate them and never bring them back in, never let them back in. It's just by you isolating and separating these habits, you're going to be very aware of what it truly takes to stay in shape. And you're going to be aware of what it also takes to gain that weight back. Now, letting the habits or making a decision on what habits to let back in, you don't necessarily have to let habits back in permanently. That could mean going to a restaurant to have a certain meal, maybe a drink or something like that once a week, when before you decided to get in shape, this is something that you were doing every 2 or 3 days. Maybe instead of going to the gym on every other Thursday or something like that, you decide to watch movies with friends or something like, or hang out with friends or something like that. These are the habits, okay? Understand that if you've gotten in amazing shape, 9 times out of 10, you have an above average look. You've accomplished something that is above average. You cannot just let all of these below average or average habits back in, because what's going to happen is you're just going to get complacent. You're going to fall into that very comfortable space, which I've personally experienced it. You're going to fall into that comfortable space. And most people do not know how to return from that. And that's when the weight starts to pile on and it's kind of downhill from there. Now, this third one is one of my favorites. I talk about this a lot of times with my clients that I work with. This is something that I recommend or advise them to do even before they get in shape. And that is going to be set new standards for yourself. What are your standards? Here's what I mean by this. If your standards are to stay at a certain weight, if your standards are to be able to fit into a certain shirt, or a certain look, a certain shape, certain size of body, if that's your standard, you're going to have to stick to it. One of the biggest reasons I would say I've seen a lot of people get out of shape and just struggle to get back in shape is because they don't have that identity anymore. They're not in touch with that identity of being a fit person. And because their identity is no longer attached to being a fit person, it's just really hard for them to be disciplined. Well, when you know that being fit is who you are, or you've made the decision to say, hey, being in great shape is just who I am as a person, everything that comes along with that, it just becomes a bit easier to do. And when I say easier, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have to be disciplined. It doesn't mean that it's always going to be comfortable. It just means that it's no different than getting up for work in the morning and arriving on time. It's no different. Anything that is like a learned habit, right? Anything that's just a regular habit, the meal prepping, the gym training, all of that stuff is just going to be like, at some point, it just becomes a normal day in the office to do these things. It's going to be hard to become that person if you don't set standards for yourself. So your standards are all about how much you want to weigh or how much you believe you should weigh. Your standards are all about how you believe you should look. How do you want to show up when it comes to your personal and your professional life? These are the standards. Also, you may even have standards for food that you eat. I'll give you a personal example. I don't eat fast food. I don't eat fast food. I don't drink soda. I can't remember the last time I drank soda. It's not to say I don't have juice or something like that, but if I just so happen to go to a restaurant that has, healthy options and things like that, I'm still not going to drink soda. I haven't had soda in years. I haven't been through not to call any specific place out, but I haven't been through a McDonald's or a Burger King drive-through in years. That stuff, it may even make me sick, right? Now, it's not to say I won't go to Publix or something and grab something quick or something like that, but there are just certain standards. There's just certain places I'm just not going to eat at. And yeah, we could get into the specifics and identify reasons that certain places are still as unhealthy, but look, bottom line, there's just certain places that I'm not going to go to. I really recommend setting new standards for yourself. And this is all about not what the scale number says, but it's all about how you believe you're supposed to look and how you need to show up. That takes a certain level of confidence, and it takes a very high level of independence, because not everyone around you may feel the same way. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Not all my family and friends, followers on social media believe that they need to be in shape, and that is okay. Guess what? That has nothing to do with you. Your identity, your standards, that's all about what you feel you deserve. All right, so the last thing is going to be grace period, okay? Look, when you get in shape, you got to make a decision, right? Do I want to celebrate? Or maybe you've kind of done the whole cheat meal thing on a weekly basis. That's totally fine, right? Definitely understand what it's like to be on some type of strict diet and then reach a point where you're like, okay, I need a little vacation from this. Totally fine. Do not turn a couple days or a week off. Don't turn that into like a whole month marathon, because this is where people mess up. They get complacent, they get too comfortable with, because that's what's important to understand. Not working out, eating the fast food, all of these things, whatever, snacking, drinking, these things are comfortable. Like, we don't have to, you're not really going to find a fitness influencer, a fitness coach, someone reputable in the fitness industry that's just going to say like, oh yeah, eating healthy, working out is just 100% comfortable. No, we choose these things because of the return of investment, because of the results. Okay. So I'm saying this to say, give yourself a little grace period. A grace period is not just for when you get in shape. A grace period is for when you notice that you're starting to gain a little weight and be out of shape. I've experienced that. I know what it's like to be in this space where I'm like, okay, past couple weeks, you haven't really shown up to the gym on time. You past couple weeks, you've hit snooze a bit too many times. The past couple weeks, you haven't really measured your food or weighed your food like you usually do, whatever that looks like, right? Like, it's literally up to you. But guess what? If you don't do the second thing that I mentioned, which was isolating the habits, if you don't do the third thing that I mentioned, which is setting the standards, it's really going to be hard to understand that you're already in a grace period and it's time to kind of start that countdown and be working your way back toward that trainer, be working your way back toward that gym routine, or be working your way back toward that diet that you were on. Okay. So getting in shape, that's great. Staying in shape, that is amazing. That's where it's at, right? Because a lot of people want to live a healthy lifestyle, and I find myself having to ask questions. And what I realize is a lot of people that say they want to live a healthy lifestyle don't want to live a healthy lifestyle. What they're saying is they want to get in shape and stay in shape forever. You can live a healthy lifestyle and still have a certain high amount of body fat. So be very clear with yourself about what you truly want when it comes to getting in shape and also staying in shape. All right, that's it for this. I hope that this helped. Listen, if you got value from this and you want to learn a bit more about me and what I do and who I work with, go to www.thetrainerguide.com. You can check out some of the testimonials. You can actually apply for 90-day body transformations, and head on over to my Instagram, because there are more testimonials. I post content literally daily that you're definitely not going to find on here. I tell my Instagram followers too that nothing on my YouTube is going to be seen on Instagram. So if you're subscribed to this YouTube, I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe, because the training videos and things like that you guys see on here, I'm literally not going to post it anywhere else. I'm literally investing my time into creating training, a long form training for this platform, because I do love YouTube and the fact that it helps me connect. All right. So head on over to the website if you guys want to check it out. And also, if you have any questions, if you have some questions for me, you want to personally email me at j.lopez@thetrainerguide.com. As long as it is body transformation, 90-day body transformation, or even entrepreneurship based, if it's something around that space, because that's what I do, life coaching for entrepreneurs and body transformation. As long as it aligns with that, I don't mind answering if it's something that doesn't require a lot of coaching and consulting. All right. So thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.